Welcome to Myosh Academy. In this video, we'll have a look at the COVID-19 reporting module within Myosh. Clicking on the COVID-19 reporting module in the left sidebar will take us to the COVID-19 record list. At a quick glance, we can see important information such as the affected person, whether isolation or quarantine is required, any test results, and their risk of being contagious. To create a new report, we need to click on the New Record button, which will open the COVID-19 report listed above. Pressing the left arrow button in the top left-hand corner of the form will maximize the page so it's easier to see. You can also press Collapse All so you can see the sections of the form one at a time. Opening up the reporting details, we can select the affected person and the reporting person. Both of these people will be sent a thank you email for submitting a COVID-19 report. We also have the date reported and the affected person's date of birth. The date reported will default to the date of creating this record, but you can change this by selecting the calendar icon. You can also change your default settings in the administration section of Myosh if you'd prefer this to remain blank. In exposure information, you have several single selection buttons, all of which, if you select yes as the answer, will open further questions for more details. Let's have a quick glance through them. Firstly, has the affected person had close contact with a person with acute respiratory infection in the last 14 days? If selecting yes will open a checkbox list of common locations. You can add or change these keywords in the administration section. Has the affected person travelled in the last 14 days? Yes will open a Log New button to create a table of locations. In here, you have one section where you can add the country, city, and arrival and departure date. If there are several, you can submit this and press Log New again. You also have your details of exposure, where you have a text box to type whatever you need. And the last single selection button in this section is, has the affected person been in isolation or quarantine? When selecting yes will open a date selection when that has started and finished. And then lastly, any other locations where the affected person has travelled in the last 14 days. This is different than the previous single selection box of have they travelled. This is just related to their local city. The next section contains their clinical information. And again, selecting yes to these questions will open further criteria. Does the affected person show symptoms? Yes will open a checkbox list of common COVID-19 symptoms and a date selection. Have they seen a doctor or been admitted to hospital? Opens up details for that doctor or institution. And have they been tested? Yes will open up the test results, in which selecting positive will also ask their health status. And finally, if the affected person has any risk factors. The next section in the initial report form is the close contacts list. When selecting yes, this will open a list. You can select as many people as you need by either typing or selecting the drop-down list. The people you list here will receive an email notification stating they have been in close contact with the affected person. And lastly, you have your attachments section. Here you can add in any photos or documentation you need if relevant. Submitting this form will send a notification to the group of people in your company nominated as COVID-19 in Myosh. Let's log into Angela, who is in the COVID-19 group, and have a look at this new report. Once a COVID-19 record has been logged, the record will be in an open status. The next stage helps determine the level of evaluation required by selecting the affected person's risk of being contagious. Any of the previous information can be amended if needed, but we have some extra sections to fill in as well. We now have our evaluation required section, which begins with their risk of being contagious. Selecting low here will allow you to write notes, add or change their close contacts, and add any contact tracing if known, and close off the report. More on that in a moment. If selecting medium or high risk of being contagious, this will open an extra section called evaluation. Here you can select whether quarantine or isolation is required, and whether or not the affected person can continue to work, or with modified duties. You can also select any methods of communication used to contact the affected person. Contact tracing is an important tool to assist with monitoring contact cases and link existing COVID-19 reports. If a person is added to contact tracing, a record is made for them, and is linked to the affected person. When selecting medium or high for risk of being contagious, you have an extra submission button to progress the record forward. If selecting save, the record will remain in an open status. Selecting send notifications will send an exposure notification in the form of an email to the people who are selected in the close contact section, and the record will remain open for further evaluation. And selecting close off will update the form to a closed case. If you need any further help, please feel free to reach out to us for demonstration or training. Thank you for watching.